UFC on Fox 7, San Jose, from the HP Pavilion, coming up April 20th. Check your local listings. This is being called UFC vs. Strikeforce card. I'm Christopher Thompson here with your rundown for UFC on Fox 7. First, we're going to hit up the title match between Henderson versus Melendez. Henderson currently holding the 155-pound title. His record comes in at 17-2. He has 11 wins since 2009. His only loss comes back in 2010 from Anthony Pettis. So it's interesting to see Henderson keeping his training going, also competing in some jiu-jitsu tournaments. Most recent tournament, he went 2-1. And his loss you can catch on YouTube. I believe all his matches are up there. Say the only loss he come up with, the guy went on to win the tournament, catch a gold medal. So that's about an 8 or 9 minute video. If you catch it on YouTube, go to Budio Videos. I know they have a few of his matches up there. Melendez is fighting with Cesar Gracie. His record is 21-2. These guys are both evenly matched. They're both 5'9". Got about a 70 or 71 inch reach. So Melendez, 9 wins out of his last 11 fights since 2007. His most recent losses were to Mitsuhiro Yoshida, and also his most recent was Josh Thompson back in 2008. He's coming out of Strikeforce. This will be his first fight in the UFC. Which you said he's fighting was out of Cesar Gracie, which is interesting. In Diaz's last fight with GSP, he was questioning his camp, some of his training methods, maybe the way he prepared for the fight, like he wasn't monitored properly. So we get to see Nate Diaz fight, also on the same card as Melendez. So we see how their camp manages making the fight. Cesar Gracie wasn't able to corner Diaz in the last fight with GSP, so we see how it works out. See how they're working through any problems, if any problems that they were having. So we move on to Frank Mir versus Daniel Cormier. Frank Mir is 16-6. It's interesting that he won 3 out of his last 5 fights. His lost to Shane Carwin and also Junior Dos Santos. So his most memorable performance was the one back in 2008 where he broke Nog's arm. So he's had a few losses since then, but there weren't nothing to write home about. And he seems to be relying on his improved striking and kind of abandoning his jiu-jitsu game. Also back with a fight with Roy Nelson, his cardio looked bad. We'll see how he's able to come through the cardio situation here with Cormier, which Cormier, he's 11-0. This will be his first fight in the UFC. Undefeated in Strikeforce since 2009. Most recent, I think his last fight he beat out Starring. Also beat Josh Barnett and Antonio Silva. I believe those two were his toughest opponents. So if he comes into this fight in shape, I'm looking for him to take the victory here, using his striking to set up the wrestling instead of submissions. As the fight goes on, I see it becoming Cormier's fight. Of course, they're heavyweights, you know how that'll go as far as cardio. So moving on to Nate Diaz versus Josh Thompson. So Nate Diaz, he's 16-8, carrying a 76-inch reach. He's coming off a loss to title holder Ben Henderson. Surprisingly, he's only won 3 out of his last 6 fights. He's 50% there. His weakness seems to be in wrestling. He also lost to Rory McDonald and Ben Henderson. Seemed his weakness got him the loss was through the wrestling. So we'll see if he comes in improved and can stay on top. His strongest skills are his boxing. Sure, he'll look to utilize his boxing and stay elusive on the ground if it goes there. He has some good positioning, but I hope he mixes it up well if he goes to the ground. Sometimes the Diaz brothers, they'll stick with one type of game plan throughout the fight. Sometimes it doesn't work for them and they keep going back to it. I hope he mixes it up, keeps it interesting. So Josh Thompson, he's 19-5, has great cardio, good submission skills. His last fight was back in 2012 though. He lost to Melendez by a split decision, so he's been out of the cage for a while. So we'll see if he comes back with any cage rust, or see how he's able to maintain the fight with his cardio and skills. Saying that may be a factor. I'm looking to give Nate Diaz the win here in the fight though. So I also have Matt Brown and Jordan Mean on the card. Looking for Brown to take that victory. So that's enough said there. April 27th, UFC 159, Jones versus Sonnen. Says it's going to be a pay-per-view card. Seems to be coming up next week, April 27th. Also, we'll see our third women's fight on that card with Jones and Sonnen. Sarah McMahon, she's 6-0 versus Sheila Gaff at 10-4. Also, we'll see Leonard Garcia fighting Cody McKenzie. Say Garcia is 4 out of his last 6 fights. He's lost 4 out of his last 6. I'll see if he can manage to stay out of Cody McKenzie's chokeholds. Cody's real sufficient in getting the back or getting choked from just about any angle. So also April 27th, don't forget to check out the website showfight.com. So they'll be fighting up in Branson, Missouri. Ultimate Expression will be in the cage sponsoring that event. So you don't want to miss that. Check the website. That's showfight.com. So a few of the upcoming matches that I'm looking forward to. I'll run them down real quick. JDS versus Mark Hunt. We've got Cowboy Cerrone versus KJ Noons. I'm kind of looking forward to that one. It's a 155 fight. Not sure if they'll be up for title contention after that fight. We'll see where UFC decides to take that. They also have a title match, Barao versus Weiland. I'll be looking forward to that one. So Shogun versus Lil Nog. Also have Evans versus Dan Henderson. That should be a good one, especially after their last showings. Evans not too active against his fight with Nogueira. Seemed really static in the fight. So Jake Shields versus Tyrone Woodley. That'll be a good one. And we'll be rounding out Anderson Silva versus Chris Weidman. Of course, you know the story with that one. So we'll be looking forward to those fights. And like I said, check out UFC on Fox 7, April 20th, this weekend. So check your local listings, see where they're going to have the pre-fights, undercard fights, and then main event. And don't forget, April 27th, check out the website, showfight.com. Also check out my website, ultimateexpression.com. So get out there, purchase some, represent. That does it for the Rundown Show. I'm Christopher Thompson. I'm out of here.